Yeah, everybody's been kind of talking crazy about my boy James Harden. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's the oddest thing in the world. Um, that Cavs trade, when Harden went to the Cavs, Garland to the Clippers, I didn't even see it coming, to be honest. I heard rumors on it, but I think it's a is it a win-win? Yeah, I say it's a win-win because the Clippers were getting old, so they had nothing else to look forward to. I really don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I think Kawhi is not a Clipper at the end of the season. Going to next season, he's probably gonna get traded. He's most likely gonna get traded because this nigga's playing like a top five player in the world. Oh, and my Steam is up. He playing like a top five player in the world, so I believe they probably just kept him so that OKC doesn't get that draft pick. I ain't gonna lie, because if OKC get that draft pick, is bruh, it's over. So we're gonna see what this is about. I ain't gonna lie.
Harden was traded for the 5th time of his career and the 4th time in the past 6 seasons. I mean, for some guys, that's complete light
Let's
work.
see,
Trevor Ariza throughout his
Rockets.
career was
Oh, no.
traded an NBA record 11 times.
Harden was on OKC, Rockets, Brooklyn, Philly, Clips, Cavs.
Damn. You have
In a
Dennis
short amount of
Schroeder,
time,
who was just
too.
traded for
I
his
think
8th
6
time
teams
recently
in
after
6 years.
also being moved to Cleveland. But for a superstar like Harden, who has requested or outright demanded most of these trades, this is rare territory.
I mean, yeah, he's undisputedly one of the
That shit was legendary, where he was shitting on Daryl Morey. That he's a liar. I don't want to be a part of any franchise he's a part of. Legend.
most talented NBA players
Legendary.
of all time. One of the best scorers in the modern NBA. But yeah, he is hurting himself with, jumping to a new team every like 2 years at this point.
Nigga put on a fat suit. He put on a fat suit, man, to get traded. Who's
Before
doing
we start
that?
talking about Harden's legacy, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss on any new videos. So for this video, we wanted to do a deep dive on each time Harden's been traded, see if he was in the wrong, was he justified in wanting out, or was it a situation where he didn't request a trade, asked to be traded at all, and he was just traded, completely outside of his control. Obviously, Harden starts his career in Oklahoma City, a perfect situation early on, gets to come off the bench.
I wonder
on
how
one of the
OKC would have
most
been
talented
with all of
young
them three.
teams in NBA history, of course, led by KD and Russ.
Do we think they win it all with all three of them? I think they eventually do. I'm not gonna lie. And after he left anyway, OKC went to the finals. Oh no, he was part of the finals.
Quickly grows into one of the best 6
But
men in the
OKC
NBA, even wins 6
made
men of the
another
year in
deep run.
2012,
They just didn't
averaging
beat
almost 17
Golden
points
State.
a night.
And that's
That
when
year the Thunder make it all the way to the
KD
NBA
pulled the bitch
Finals,
move.
but you fall short to the Heatles in 5 games. Harden specifically, he was pretty bad in the finals. Averaged 12.4 points a night on 37.5% shooting. I don't really blame him. First finals, age 22, going up against, Wade, LeBron, Bosh, everyone on that team.
Yeah, prime Heatles, right?
Yeah, exactly. But objectively,
Yeah, the
to give
prime
some
Heatles,
context
bro.
to what happened shortly after, he did not play well.
Yeah, and then that summer, Sam Presti was left with a tough situation as Oklahoma City ownership didn't want to get into a situation where they'd be paying the luxury tax in the future, and both Serge Ibaka and Harden were due for extensions in the near future, so you had to pick between one of them, and they ended up picking Ibaka.
They
Obviously,
still
terrible
could have done
decision in
something.
hindsight, but worth remembering
They
that
were so
no
close,
one
they
knew
were right
Harden was
there.
going to be this good. I mean, it was obviously had potential, right? But he was in his 3rd year, and he was a 6-man averaging 17 points off the bench. Like, no one saw a future MVP in this guy. Plus, the Thunder already had some good playmakers and scorers from the outside in KD and Russ, so it makes sense to lock up, the defensive-minded big. But
That's
honestly,
funny
it's gonna go down
that he played with Russ in Houston, and then he played with KD in Brooklyn.
is the biggest mistake of
That's
Sam
hilarious.
Presti's career, and that's a guy that hasn't made very many of them, but he
You
blew
blew
it on
it,
this
boy.
one.
You really blew it.
Harden ends up getting traded that summer to the Rockets for Jeremy Lamb, Kevin Martin, 2 future firsts, and a future 2nd-round pick. So
Wait, what was the package?
Minded.
I did
But
forgot that
honestly,
Harden
it's
package.
gonna go down as the biggest mistake of Sam Presti's career, and that's a guy that hasn't made very many of them, but he
You
blew
blew
it on
it,
this
boy.
one.
You
Harden ends up getting traded that summer to the Rockets for Jeremy Lamb, Kevin Martin, 2 future firsts, and a future second-round pick. So this trade, obviously no blame to Harden whatsoever. Didn't ask for it. He technically could have taken a pay cut to stay, but
No, not when you're that young.
Exactly. You're not going to blame a guy whatsoever who's still on his rookie contract. He deserved the full max, and realistically, if you think about it, it might have been the best thing to happen to him on an individual
that was the
level.
best thing to
Make sure if
happen.
he stays with the Thunder, there's a decent chance he would have had a ring, but at the same time, he would not have developed, at least in my opinion, to the MVP he became with Houston. So now on the Rockets, Harden basically immediately became a superstar,
Yeah.
had an insane debut game.
It was like 37 and like 12 and like 18 or something like that.
Yeah,
That's where it
all
all
that
went
from
down.
6th man of the year to an all-star, made all-NBA third team, and finished 8th in MVP
Nigga,
voting
hitting
in his
step
first season
backs,
with the team.
Euro
That's pretty
steps.
good.
And after his first season, the Rockets became like fringe contenders with the addition of Dwight Howard.
Damn,
Harden
bro,
just a
but he
second
had
team
so
in
many
Houston,
teams. I don't know
finished
how it
first
didn't
team
work
with
out.
Dwight making all-NBA second team. Got knocked out by the Blazers in the first round.
I ain't gonna lie, I can't blame James Harden, bro, for everything he's done. Imagine you get traded to a whole new situation, to a whole new team, boom, and you become an MVP candidate. Every year, competitive, you're top three team in the West, always super competitive, always had competitive teams around you. But you run into a fucking dynasty. You run into Steph, KD, Clay, Draymond, prime warriors. And nigga, I think they were like what? 10, I think they were within 10 points of winning. Oh no, not winning, but like tying the game. So literally, if they just hit like 3 to 4 more threes, that nigga James Harden might have been in the finals. It could happen. Also, Chris Paul was injured too. So if he was playing, who knows? Who knows? Like literally a couple jump shots, like Harden might be a champion, and he might have not left Houston. Now that nigga's been chasing the rings, going to different teams. He should have thugged it out in Brooklyn. They would have I think they would have won. Even with the KD big toe, I think if them three, KD, Harden, Kyrie, I think if they stayed together, I think they would have won a ring eventually. That when they played together it was actually unfair. Thank God they didn't play more than like 30 games together, because that shit was actually unfair. But I don't blame them, bro.
No, so you know, 2 All-NBA performers, and you can't beat Damian Lillard.
A couple threes was his last chance. Oh, and a big toe.
Yeah, Harden wasn't really good
Hey,
in
bro.
that series, and by the way, get used to hearing that phrase a lot.
After that, like,
because it
what do
happens
you
a
do?
ton in his career. Rockets did bounce back, made the conference finals the next year, but first round exit in 2016 would end up being Dwight's last year with the team. Rockets, though, improved the next season by a lot after hiring Mike D'Antoni, really elevated Harden's game to an even higher level, averaged 29 points while also leading the league in assists, finished second in MVP voting behind Russ in a race that he was really leading until the very end when Russ locked up.
He should have won that year.
Triple-double for the
But the
entire
Russ story
season.
was too
But
elite.
once again, playoff
The Russ story was too
disappointment in the
elite.
second round
That
as he
storyline
puts
was
up
way too
10
elite.
points on 2 of 11 shooting and a Game 6 elimination loss to the Spurs where they lost by 39 points at home. And I'm pretty sure Kawhi Leonard didn't play
That
that game
nigga
for the Spurs.
Yeah, I
shit
think
in the
you're right. It
bag.
was just a straight beat down. Following off season though, you add CP3, you win 10 more games, capturing the best record in the league, and Harden wins his first and only MVP. Kinda another disappointing playoffs. I mean, I don't hold this too hard against Harden, but the Rockets, they were leading 3-2 against the Warriors in the conference
Yeah, they
finals.
could have
Of course,
won.
Chris Paul goes down. You get
Yeah.
blown out in game 6, and then the
Hamstring,
27 straight
big
missed
toe
threes in
away
game 7.
from Harden
didn't shoot
potentially
well in those
having a
games,
ring.
but he's playing the greatest team of all time. His,
Dude.
co-star, co-ball
Harden
handler,
with the
Chris Paul's
mohawk.
out. So this is one of the few years at least where I give him a pass.
I kind of do too, but at the same time, they were up 11 in that first half of Game 7.
That's true.
Had a double-digit lead at home.
That's true. The following season, though, is where the Rockets team just slowly declined.
Oh,
Harden
yeah,
was still
that-
insane in 2019, had one of the best scoring
Wait,
seasons
did Chris
ever,
Paul even
finished
play
his
that full
second
season?
MVP, but
Or
he
is that when
fought the
Russ
Warriors
came
again,
along?
this time the second round. Then they trade Chris Paul for Russ that offseason.
Oh,
Once
okay,
again,
so he
you're
did
a
have
second
another
round
year.
exit, this time to the Lakers.
Dude,
But-
oh my God, that Harden and Russ team was so fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Even though like you knew they weren't gonna win ish, They were so fun to watch. They were so fun to watch. The small ball, bro, they was running Robert Covington at center, dude. yo, that small ball era. That's crazy how like at 180 now it's jumbo. It's a jumbo lineup that every team is trying to run, but back then every team was trying to run the small ball lineup and spam threes.
And
now it's the jumbo
that
lineup,
is when
but
we
still
got
spam
Harden's
threes.
First trade request. It starts with Daryl Morey stepping down in October. That made Harden kind of doubt the future of the Rockets. Could they continue to be contenders? So
And they had PJ Tucker. That bro, PJ Tucker was playing center, bro.
You know, Russ starts hearing that Harden wants to be traded, so then Russ demands a trade to jump ahead of it. Russ gets traded to the Wizards, and it took a while for the Nets and Rockets to agree on a deal because if you're the Rockets, why rush to give up?
Russ should have stayed on the Wizards. That's one of my hot takes. He should have never left. But I kind of get it. They were kind of not doing nothing. Him and Beal. He was putting up some stats in Washington. He should have stayed there. Just end the career there. But
up, this MVP,
80s what
this
80s.
incredible player. So Harden becomes frustrated. It results in him having a heated exchange with Jayshawn Tate in practice. Of course, he deploys the fat suit.
Yep.
He showed
Yeah,
up
the
late
fat
for
suit
training
is
camp.
absolute
Also,
legendary.
A couple days before the trade officially went down, he just says to a reporter, like, the Rockets just weren't good enough. But finally, he gets traded to Brooklyn. Now, the way he went about requesting this trade, all the antics, the fat suit and everything, it was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it was immature and everything. I do kind of see why he wanted out. Like, he wasn't wrong. This Rockets team wasn't good enough.
They were not.
John Wall and Boogie past their primes really wasn't going to do anything. But it was the first of, many situations where it's like, really, this is how you're going to go about it?
Yeah, now on to Brooklyn. The Nets immediately became one of the title favorites with their stacked big three of KD, Harden, Kyrie. Fully healthy, one of the best big threes of all time. But unfortunately, that first season completely derailed by injuries. Harden hurts his hamstring against the Bucks in the second round. Kyrie injures his ankle. Harden, will give him props. He came back and he tried to play, even though he really should not have. And, he just couldn't do much to help KD as the Nets fall in 7 games to the eventual champion Bucks. Falling.
Oh, you know who they fell to? You know what I'm saying? Hey?
Here was the whole saga with Kyrie.
Hey, bro.
Decided not to get
Giannis
vaccinated,
legendary
so he was unable
performance.
to play home games. He was away from the team to start the year, and it was just a whole.
And that's where that
big,
legendary
mess
clip
in
from
Brooklyn.
Riv came
Compare that
from.
with KD spraining his
Don't
MCL
forget.
in January, and Harden just became frustrated and disillusioned with the situation in Brooklyn. Now, Woj did report he didn't formally request a trade due to the fear of public backlash and whatnot, but he made it clear wanted to move to Philadelphia. So before the deadline, he got sent to the 76ers for Ben Simmons, Andre Drummond, Seth Curry, and 2 first-round picks. Hard to defend Harden here because if he had literally just waited a month, most of the problems with the Nets would have mended themselves.
That's what I'm
Kyrie was back
saying.
playing full-time.
If Harden stayed on the Nets, they probably would have went back. They probably would have had a deep playoff run. They probably would have made the finals. No one in the East was really messing with that team. I'm not gonna lie. The Bucks, they got kind of bailed out with KD's foot on the line. I'm not even gonna lie. They kind of got bailed out, and Kyrie got injured. Even though they were still looking like they could have won easily, but not easily, but they could have won. They could have just swung the team right back. Dude, no one was messing with that 3. They still had Claxton. Cam Thomas was coming off the bench. I think they still had Bruce Brown. Bro, that team was actually nice, bro. He should have just thugged it through, man.
KD was back.
Kyrie wanted to be Socrates, man, and KD's toe was on the line. Without that, they would have.
June and July, request the trade then. Why were you so eager to leave?
And the other thing is, you're leaving KD and Kyrie, 2 guys who have won championships. They know what it takes to win.
For fucking Joel Embiid.
Yeah, for fucking Joel Embiid. You're mad that KD and Kyrie aren't playing.
that was crazy.
So you're gonna go join Joel Embiid?
Yeah,
it made no sense. I guess there was reuniting with Daryl Morey. I mean, spoiler alert, he was gonna regret doing that. And yeah, just another fellow playoff choker in Embiid. This just felt so short-sighted. Like you mentioned, you wait a month and a half and you could have ran it back with Kyrie and KD, and maybe you don't do anything that season because I think they got the 6th seed or something.
Maybe they do better with Harden though.
Yeah, maybe they do better with Harden, or maybe the year after that they could have done something. Maybe Kyrie and KD would have stayed if Harden was still there, but regardless, he's on to the 76ers in his first year with them.
Sixers did Absolutely
end of that
nothing.
season. Not surprisingly, he
Absolutely
struggles
nothing.
in the playoffs. I mean, they beat the Raptors in round 1, but you fall to the Heat in round 2 in a series where Harden just didn't play well. He had one good like game 4 performance, and besides that, he just wasn't good for them. You know, it's what he does in the playoffs.
Nah, but that one
offseason,
Harden
he did
game
decline a
against the
$47 million
Celtics,
player
I'll never
option,
forget
signed a
that.
more team-friendly
That nigga
two-
was straight fucking balling, bro. Balling without Embiid. But I don't know, them two, they just don't work together. Their play styles just doesn't fit.
deal. That allowed the 76ers to bring in some former teammates, PJ Tucker and Daniel House.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
Trying to
because
make
once again,
Rockets
he
part
lost in the
2.
second round, this time falling to Boston. And Harden did have a couple monster games in this series. I think it was game
He
1.
did,
drops
bro.
45, game 4,
Especially that game winner,
42,
too.
hit a clutch shot. But in game 6 and 7, holy shit, the dude just fell off the earth. He was terrible.
I feel like James Harden in the playoffs, it's like roll a dice, and if you get a 6,
Yeah,
then you have
sure.
a really good game. Anything else, it's just a stinker.
That's true.
It's such a gamble. Yeah,
Guaranteed
he's
to have,
either
like,
elite or
one
he's
game
just
per
ass,
series.
like
Yeah.
But
super
that's it.
ass.
Maybe he'll have 2
There's
if
no
the
in
series
between.
goes 7, but not any more than that.
Yeah.
So partly because of that, and also because of his age, Daryl Morey and the Sixers were unwilling to give Harden the full max. He then opted into his player option, with the plan being that the 76ers were going to trade him. But after trade talks stalled, Harden proceeded to call Daryl Morey a liar in front of a bunch of
This shit was legendary. When that nigga in China, bro, these niggas don't, mind you, they don't speak English. Like a lot of these people, they don't speak English, so they probably don't know what the hell he's doing. He's sitting up there with the microphone live, calling Daryl Morey a liar, just shitting on him and saying he's not being a part of that organization. And he was still under the 76ers. I don't think he was a free
kids in
agent.
China. Genuinely one of the most unhinged and crazy
That
things
shit was
an
so
NBA
funny.
player has ever done to try to force through either like a free agency or trade move.
Hey, he stood on
this
business.
Is honestly, like kind of pathetic.
I'm
Like,
so glad.
Nah, it wasn't pathetic, nigga. That shit was legendary, bro. Hey, man, imagine you took I don't know how much it was, 8 to 10 mil around that of a pay cut. They promise you, all right, we're gonna give you an extension. We're gonna give you that contract and that money that you did take a pay cut for. We're gonna pay that back to you, and then you don't get it. Nigga, I'd be up here calling that nigga a liar too.
Video of it though, because if that
Yes.
didn't exist, it
Honestly,
would be unbelievable.
It would be, first of all, like people are still like going
Legendary.
crazy about trying to find like Wilt's 100-point footage.
Yeah.
Like if that didn't exist and we just got the report of it, it would be the greatest lost media in the history of sports, I think.
In some ways, he kind of has a point. You know, he took the pay cut.
Sure.
The plan was like if you opt in, they were gonna trade him, and then trade talks completely stalled. But at the same time, yeah, it just looks
legendary.
insane, it looks pathetic. But somehow Harden, the kind of theme throughout this all, he keeps getting his way, because shortly after this, he was sent to the Clippers in exchange for Batum, Covington, KJ Martin, Marcus Morris, and a couple future firsts. Despite, starting 0-5 with them, they eventually, found their groove, won 51 games.
Yeah, at one
Kawhi
point they
falls
were
to the
pretty
Mavericks
good.
in round 1 in a series where Kawhi played 2 games, but really was hurt and wasn't himself whatsoever. Then last year, despite Paul George leaving to join the 76ers, Kawhi missing over half the season, the Clippers surprised a lot of people,
Hey,
still
bro.
won 51 games
Paul
again.
George.
But once again, you're a first-round exit this time
Tough.
to the Nuggets. Honestly, like 2 tough first-round series, but you wanted to go the West. Like,
Yeah.
it's honestly partly Harden's fault as well.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're going to get the team that goes to the finals as a 5th seed, and then you're going to get the Nuggets with
Yeah.
Jokic. This is,
It
it
is
is what it
really
is out
fun,
here.
but-
It's not
Yeah.
the East, buddy. It's not the East. So that leads us to this
Also,
season.
Kawhi,
Harden and the
though,
Clippers
that
weren't
nigga
expected
was
to do
not
much,
playing.
mainly because of their
Always
age. Had a
hurt.
god-awful start to the year, 6-21 through their first 27 games, but they've rallied kind of miraculously, honestly. They were 23-25 at the start of February, but then out of nowhere, we get reports that Harden could be traded to Cleveland. Like early, like Tuesday morning, these reports come out, and I remember looking at my phone and be like,
Shit is so
what?
random.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and it ended up
So
going down
random.
later that day for Darius Garland in a 2nd-round pick. And like Harden has said, he didn't request a trade. And to be honest, like this situation is a little different than like Houston, Brooklyn, Philly. As we said in our trade deadline video, this trade honestly kind of works for the Clippers. Like they get younger, they don't have to give up draft capital or any more players.
And they don't gotta
Garland's got
like
his
tie
problems,
tie
mainly
a big
injury
contract
issues,
to him.
But I think it's a decent enough trade for the Clippers. You know, a nice little risk-reward thing for them. But that makes it 4 trades for Harden in the last 6 seasons. And for a player the caliber of Harden, like, it's kind of unprecedented in NBA history.
Yeah, it's not like Russ where he's been struggling to find a spot, or like Chris Paul, same thing.
Like Vince Carter at the end of his career when he clearly was just a role player. Like, Harden's averaging 25 and 8 this year.
Yeah, he's arguably like an all-star level player, and it's just insane that he continues to move teams. Like you mentioned, like this situation is different.
Is this what it is? Him and KD cut from the same cloth, bro. It is what it is. If that situation ain't working, they're not scared to leave.
All these trades adding up like this ultimately is going to be part of his legacy, especially the way he's went about a lot of these trades, you know, requesting them pretty publicly, at least it's not a secret whatsoever, completely like quitting on teams and basically doing whatever he's needed to do to get his way. In the past, like I think it was around a year ago, I pushed to make a puff piece on him because
you did, yeah.
I feel like his actual play on the court is underappreciated.
So right about
the
that.
Playoff choking is there, but he's also had some tough circumstances, had to go up against those prime Warriors. But at the end of the day, like looking back at his legacy, sure, you're never going to forget the MVP season. You're never going to forget the insane score in that 2019 season. But also, like, the playoff choking and all these damn trades are going to be remembered as well. He basically represents, like, everything a lot of people hate about modern NBA superstars.
Yeah, like the diva who, like, you know, quits on a team at the first sign of adversity.
Yeah.
You know, publicly, you
He
know,
is a diva.
problems in the locker rooms, like demands
him and KD, man, same
out,
DNA.
Yeah, request trades. It's just like, for me, it's the fact that he always just seems to skip out at the first sign of like something going
Exactly.
wrong. It's like,
Yeah, that's
it's like,
just funny. Any small thing that goes wrong, Harden's out. Like dead ass. Any small thing, bro.
just like stick around for like a half a year. If he had done that with most of these scenarios, it probably would have ended up correcting itself, right?
So
Yep.
yeah, we'll
If
see
he
what
stayed with
happens in
Brooklyn for
Cleveland. It's a
another
better
season.
win now situation. Maybe he's
All right, that's pretty much it to that video. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, Harden should have just thugged it out with the Nets, stayed there. They probably would have won. I really think no one was really messing with that Nets team at all. But yeah. Hey man. Harden's still that guy. He's still an all-star. So I don't know why everyone's like shitting on him.